Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking the video out today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today, so do me a favor before we dive into these topics. If you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, make sure you leave it a like, and if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're starting here with the first topic, which talks about Dead Island 2 and how it has apparently been delayed. Coming from PlayStation Lifestyle, the 2023 video game delay season has kicked off early, with Dead Island 2's release date being pushed by 12 weeks. The news formed part of the parent company Embracer Group's latest financial report and comes at the heels of Saints Row Reboot failing to meet expectations. Dead Island 2 has faced quite a few development hurdles over the years, including but not limited to a change in development teams. Instead of February 3rd, 2023, Dead Island 2 will now release on April 28th, 2023. Developer Dambuster Studios and publisher Deep Silver acknowledged that the news will disappoint fans who've waited a long time, but said that the delay was necessary to release a game the developer is proud to launch. The irony of delaying Dead Island 2 is not lost on us, and we are just as disappointed as you undoubtedly are. The statement reads, "The delay is just 12 short weeks and development is on the final straight right now. We're going to take the time we need to make sure we can launch a game we're proud to launch. For those of you who've been waiting for years, thank you for hanging in there with us." So yeah, I figured I would let everybody know that if you were looking forward to Dead Island 2, it is being delayed by a little bit, and I don't think most people are going to be upset with this. I mean, it is a bit ironic considering, how long this game has been in development, but at this point, I think the only thing people really care about, the only thing Dead Island fans really care about, is them just releasing the game in the best possible shape that they can. So let me know your thoughts on that. Next up, we have an interesting update on the Legacy of Kain series, as Crystal Dynamics gives hope to fans with a new survey. It says here, Crystal Dynamics has given hope to a revival of the Legacy of Kain franchise after a survey gauging interest in the series generated an overwhelmingly positive response, netting over 100,000 participants. The Tomb Raider developer sent off a questionnaire at the end of September asking if players would like to see Legacy of Kain make a comeback, and suffice to say, the answer was an unequivocal yes. As a result, Phil Rogers, the CEO of Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, has said during Embracer Group's latest earnings call that it hears fans loud and clear. Quote, "We wanted to gain a community perspective on what players are looking for should we revisit the land of Nosgoth and our iconic IP Legacy of Kain. In the past, we found that surveys typically get between 1,000 and 3,000 responses, but when we asked folk about Legacy of Kain, we received over 100,000 responses. 73,000 gamers completed it entirely, and if you are one of them, we thank you very much, and we appreciate, as it was quite an effort given the survey was pretty extensive. We saw the news of our survey shared across social and press platforms, and we really felt this was a great way to reignite this passionate fan community with this legendary PC and console game series. Rest assured, we hear you loud and clearly, and we will continue to update you on the what-if possibilities ahead for Legacy of Kain in the future," end quote. So yeah, I wanted to let you guys know about this because it's not explicit confirmation that we're going to be getting a new Legacy of Kain, but at the very least, they're acknowledging just, how much of a response they got with this survey. And to me, it seems likely they're going to do something, the fact that they are acknowledging it. But obviously, it's too early to really, say anything definitively. But I know many people are fans of the Legacy of Kain series. So if you are a fan, there you go. That is the latest update we have for you. Next up, we have some information on Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. It's apparently going to run at 4K 60 FPS on the PS5. Square Enix has confirmed that the PS5 remaster of Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion will run at 4K 60 FPS following an earlier announcement in July. That resolution and frame rate may not be too impressive given that the original game was on the PSP, but it does follow through with the developer's intent to make it as close to the graphical quality of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Square Enix has previously described the game as a true remaster with updated 3D models, full voiceovers, and new music arrangements. So it says here that in comparison, the PS4 Pro version of the game will run at 4K 30 FPS, while the regular PS4 version will run at 1080p 30 FPS. The Xbox Series X version will match the PS5's frame rate and resolution, while the Series S version will run at 1080p 60 frames per second. The Nintendo Switch version will handle the game at 720p at 30 frames per second. So if you're somebody who's planning on picking up Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, these are the resolutions and frame rates that you can expect the game to run at. Moving on from that, though, we have an update on the Splinter Cell PS5 remake. Specifically, we're getting some early concept art. It says here, coming from Push Square, that Ubisoft has posted some early concept art of the upcoming Splinter Cell remake online, marking the first time we have seen Sam Fisher and a number of environments from the thoroughly updated re-release. One shows the Stealth Master hiding in the rafters of a rooftop. Another shows soldiers searching a warehouse in the dead of night. One more perches Fisher on the balcony of a house, and the fourth is what looks like a USA embassy. A final shot has the assassin crouched with his knife at the ready. To mark the series' 20th anniversary, the very first game was released on the original Xbox on November 17th, 2002 in North America. Ubisoft has posted a video celebrating the milestone. 4 team members working on the Splinter Cell remake sit down to discuss the project, revealing the core of the story and the core of the experience will remain as it was in the original game. However, improvements will be made for narrative beats that may not have aged particularly well. We've also been exploring new and innovative tech and ideas, as well as features and elements from the other Splinter Cell titles, it said. It's confirmed the team is still very early in production with the prototyping phase underway. We don't want to rush anything. We want to make sure we absolutely nail the game and we actually do everything in the right way and produce an absolutely stellar quality experience. The Splinter Cell remake team will be going dark for some time now, so don't expect to see anything for a while. So there is your latest update on the Splinter Cell PS5 remake, and you know, they do make it clear here that it's going to be quite some time before we hear anything more. It is nice that they kind of came out here to talk about this and show off these concept images on the 20th anniversary. And you know, it's a situation where I think some people are maybe curious to know, like, you know, what exactly are they going to be changing about the story? What exactly about the story do they believe didn't age particularly well? But all in all, it sounds like they do care very much about this project and they want to make sure they get it right. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Moving on to the next topic, you guys, I think will be happy to hear this. It says here, reading from PlayStation Universe, report claims scalper bots are slowly starting to lose interest in the PS5. According to a report published by bot detection outfit Netacea, scalper bots are finally beginning to lose interest in PS5 as the console passes its 2nd anniversary this month. The quarterly index from Netacea reveals the top 5 products that scalper bots have targeted during the 3rd quarter of this year, and PS5 no longer occupies a spot in the top 3. Instead, it slipped to 4. So it's still being targeted, albeit not quite as much before, and so it says here that this is the first time the PlayStation 5 has not made the top 3 in our index, a reflection of the slight reduction in bots targeting the console due to stock increases. However, its resale value has remained stable, with only a 2% drop since last quarter. So I had to be sure to cover this because I do think it's good news. Granted, it's not necessarily ideal. I mean, ideally, this wouldn't be a problem still at all. It is crazy to think that 2 years into the PS5's life cycle, it's still sitting in the top 5. But I have a feeling that going into 2023, we're going to see it drop down to the 5th spot. And then hopefully, you know, as the year progresses and more PS5s hit the shelves, I think that it's just going to completely fall out. And at some point, it's going to become a situation where, you know, bots just aren't really something you have to contend with at all. So, again, it's not perfect. It's not 100%, you know, where it should be. But, you know, this is something that I do take some pleasure in covering because, you know, I've been here since the launch of the PS5 covering it in depth and extensively. And, you know, especially within the first couple of months of this console being out, people were really getting frustrated with just how impossibly difficult it was becoming to try to order a PS5 online. And, you know, it was just a an annoying situation. I think everybody can agree on that. And so, yeah, there we go. Bots are slowly starting to lose interest, and I will continue to keep you guys updated when we hear any more news on that. But we are moving on to the final topic here, which is a small update and a change that has apparently been made to Spider-Man 2. This is reading from Push Square, where it says it looks like Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has recast the role of Harry Osborn, with star Scott Porter revealing he will not return for the sequel in a now-deleted tweet. Porter, who plays Heimdall to perfection in God of War Ragnarok, alluded to the fact that developer Insomniac Games has decided to go photorealistic with its casting in the hotly anticipated PS5 successor, and, quote, the difference between me and Harry's ages were too much to overcome, I believe, end quote. It's a particularly interesting comment, as during the transition from Marvel Spider-Man to Spider-Man Remastered, Insomniac Games controversially changed the face of Peter Parker to better match voice actor Yuri Lowenthal's performance capture. Nevertheless, those of you who played Marvel Spider-Man and spin-off Miles Morales will know that Harry is poised to have a huge role in Spider-Man 2. Porter admitted that while he's bummed not to be returning, it's going to be an incredible game. He's since removed the tweets. While there's no word on who will play Harry in the sequel, this is the first snippet of Marvel Spider-Man 2 news we've had in a while, so it's certainly interesting information, which I have to agree with. It feels like it's been way too long since Sony has talked about Spider-Man 2. I mean, it's understandable why they're not necessarily talking about it right now when they just launched Ragnarok, but even, months before it, it's just been, radio silence, and we did get that very, very small update from Insomniac, basically saying that, development is progressing smoothly, but this is, kind of surprising, and for anybody wondering why he deleted the tweets, it's likely because this is information he was not meant to reveal. I'm sure he wasn't supposed to talk about it. I don't think he'll necessarily get any type of trouble or anything, but, maybe just to be on the safe side. And so, yeah, there's no denying that Harry Osborn is going to play a much bigger role in Spider-Man 2, and I kind of understand why they're doing this, right? Like, if they're saying that we're, looking to go with photorealism, and they're saying that his age, it just doesn't match up, I do kind of get that. And so, yeah, I wanted to let you guys know about this, and, we'll end up hearing eventually about who has replaced him and who exactly is going to be playing the role of Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 2. And so there you go. That's the change that Insomniac apparently made to Spider-Man 2. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Again, if you did, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.